Hello, everyone. Welcome to week 3. This week we are reviewing chapters 12 and 18 in our text. So in chapter 12, we are talking about how we as school nurses are providing direct clinical care and are part of a population-focused community health practice. Um, and our focus is school health and our school age students. So, what exactly is community? It is the people, the place, and the function of people and relationships that emerge within an agency or an institution within a physical environment. And again, if we go back to our school nursing practice, it is a community focus, um, sort of a community within a community, right? So we're not out in the public in a community setting, but we are focused on a very um, concise group. So, like my group, my little community group is fourth, fifth, and sixth graders. But by me providing care to that little sub community, we'll say, I am taking care of the bigger community in which those students are part of and coming into, right? So when we're thinking about epidemiology and disease prevention, if I'm doing a good job here in my little bubble, then I'm also kind of helping that greater bubble out around us with community health. So next week, you start your um, paper project, and the first step is assessing your community. So a community assessment involves collecting and interpreting data from where you are, from various data sources from within your own community. So my community assessment is going to be different than yours. But when we start to look at that data, we can start identifying community problems and then prioritizing the problems that we are identifying. So what is the most important thing or the biggest thing that we should start focusing on first? So then after you look at that, we start to develop and implement interventions, which is what you're adding to your paper in week 6, that final week. So we're first assessing, then we are prioritizing and identifying what it is that we think is really important for us to fix, and then we need to develop a plan to with interventions to try to improve the problem or solve the problem or get rid of the problem altogether. Now, it is important that we evaluate the success of our implementations so that we can decide, was our improvement worthwhile? Does it need to be tweaked? Did it not work at all? Whatever it needs to be. Now, we are not doing that as part of this project, so that is one thing that you are not doing, but in practice, that is something to keep in mind that you would want to follow up and complete and do. So then chapter 18 discusses family nursing, which involves families and nurses coming together to make sure that family members understand and adapt to health and illness responses. So, as school nurses, we are often working together with families to meet health needs, promote health in general, collaborate, and create appropriate interventions. Those are all elements of family nursing in the community. And this has been talked about, I'm sure, before in your nursing education career, but it is important to remember that family is defined by two or more people that are depending on each other for physical, emotional, and or financial support. And these members are self-defined. So when we engage with our students and parents and their guardians, we need to ask them who they identify as their family members and which ones of those members do they want to be involved with healthcare planning. Again, if we think about your upcoming paper that you're going to start working on, you may need to consider how family dynamics and family health play into the problem you identify and even your interventions. For example, I recently had a teacher that came to me complaining about a child's hygiene. When I looked the student up in the system, I saw that his guardian was his grandparents. And it also appeared that perhaps there was an aunt living with them as well. So my approach kind of it changed because now I'm starting to think about, well, what is the financial impact of a grandparent raising a grandchild? Are they on a fixed budget? Is there enough soap for the child to shower more than once a week? Is there enough laundry detergent for, or money to go to a laundromat for there to be multiple loads of laundry done in a week to make sure that the child's not wearing the same things more than once without them being clean? So before I rushed in to solve that problem, I needed to collaborate with the guidance counselor to see what information she had. And it was important that I did because it turns out that that family, while they do have enough to get by on, there's not a lot of extra. And the guidance counselor already has a really great working relationship with the family and getting some extra resources into the home. So rather than me interjecting myself into that situation and being another person that's kind of, on them or pointing out to them that this child is maybe a little bit stinky, it made more sense and was more natural for the guidance counselor to handle that situation because she's already working with them and she has a relationship with them. So this is just a very easy example that highlights the need for school nurses to collaborate with our non-nursing peers when we are identifying health concerns and to consider that family dynamic when we are solving those problems and working for interventions and that sort of a thing. So we are completing our second discussion post this week. And I really hope that as you are looking through this discussion board, that it is kind of helping you start to brainstorm for your paper for next week. Please make sure that you are pulling from your nursing experience, your school nursing experience. Word counts remain the same, 800 words minimum for your initial response, 600 words minimum for your response to somebody else in the class, and APA formatting should be followed for your in-text citations and for your reference. So let me just screen share really quick here. And we're going to go over to this. Okay, so your prompts for this week are thinking about your community and school nursing experience. Identify at least two examples that illustrate the ideas of community, community client, community health, and partnerships for health. This is really a great way to exemplify nursing interventions that you have or are, or maybe are planning to implement with your peers. And then secondly, you're going to respond to how is a family assessment different than assessing like an individual patient? Have you ever completed a family assessment before? If you have, share the rewards and challenges that you have experienced. If you've not completed a family assessment, that's great, but maybe kind of predict what sorts of rewards and challenges that you may face with that. As always, I am here if you have any questions or concerns. Don't hesitate to email me. We can set up a Zoom if we need to as well. Thanks and have a great week.